One of the events that we support and the entire Capital Region supports every year is Monday. And it's the Coaches vs. Cancer basketball event. It'll be at the Capitol Center in downtown Albany. Head coach Will Brown, Jamie Brown, all involved in the big-time organization of this, and a lot of money will be raised. Coach joins us in studio here for a few minutes to talk about that, and then we'll segue into his team because we're coming up on a new season. Good morning,
Coach.
Been a while,
man.
Good morning, guys.
Wow.
How are we doing?
Good? Yeah. Survived the summer?
No complaints. Haven't lost a game since March. How about you guys? Good summer?
Yeah, pretty good.
I see you guys are anointing a bunch of Hall of Famers already in the rookie class for the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Sam Darnold's in.
I did that before they played a game, even.
Saquon Barkley was in before he even hit the field.
People must have forgotten a couple of those games at USC last year for Darnold. I do love Mahomes, though. He's a gunslinger.
He is a gunslinger.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right.
His dad, by the way, looks like he could still play even, too. They showed a shot of Pat Mahomes' dad. I thought, man, that guy could still probably go out and give you an inning or two.
It's a lot of good storylines. Yeah, I wonder when are they going to run?
It keeps it interesting, though.
I think it does. Are they going to run Gruden out in Oakland in like year one?
Well, then they got to pay him for 9 more.
I know.
He's got a pretty good gig.
You know what? Maybe that was his plan.
I would, yeah, maybe.
The worst thing that happened was that first half with Khalil Mack the other night. He was unbelievable.
Yep.
But I'm surprised that honeymoon is over in Oakland, just like that. You know what? If they don't respond in week 2, and they may not, it's going to get ugly with Gruden in Oakland right away.
Chucky's back.
Good luck in Vegas.
All right, so we're closing in here. How are the ticket sales going? Obviously, we want to make one final big old push here, sitting here on a Thursday with the weekend coming up, and then the event on Monday. Where do we stand, Coach? You know,
it's a wonderful event, as you guys know. Right around 400 tickets sold. Right now, tickets are still available. You know, our national honoree this year is Mike Hopkins, a longtime Syracuse assistant and reigning Pac-12 Coach of the Year at the University of Washington. 2 of our local honorees, Clarkie Carroll, young golfer up at Saratoga who's battled cancer and beat it, and Danny St. Clair, who happens to be a freshman on the UAlbany baseball team, another great story, who's battled cancer and beat it throughout, during his high school career. The Albany Capitol Center is a wonderful venue, and it's such a great community event. We talk about Albany and Siena coming together to raise money and raise awareness for this great cause. And you've got people behind the scenes like Anthony Marino, who started this event 13 years ago, and Lizzie Hunter, who's a star in the making. She just does a great job running the event. And my wife Jamie and I have been very fortunate. We've been a part of this event for 13 years since inception. So we're really looking forward to it. Freddie Coleman, who everybody knows in this area, comes up to MC the event, and it really is a wonderful event. And we're hoping to get close to 500 people in attendance on Monday evening.
When it started, Will, 13 years ago, what did you think it would end up becoming? And I'm not going to ask you for the dollar figure, but did you even think we may raise X amount of dollars?
We're almost at $2 million raised, so I have no problem discussing that. I think that's something that we're all proud of. When Anthony approached me about doing it, my initial reaction is absolutely, just because Anthony Marino's one of the best, and really respect him and appreciate what he does.
Suffering Bills fan.
Well, I mean, hey, hopefully he's off the Peterman bandwagon. I mean, after one game last year, I think we could have all scratched our head on that. Tyrod Taylor's not that bad after all, huh? Yeah. But anyway, of course, we wanted to be involved. Cancer, unfortunately, has impacted so many of us, family members, friends, coworkers. Just about everybody has been impacted directly or indirectly by cancer. It's a monster. And, my hope is that at some point we find a cure, if not in my lifetime, my 2 boys' lifetime. And there's a lot of people working hard to find a cure. And I think we have a platform where we can, yes, raise money, and hopefully a lot of money, but even more importantly, continue to raise awareness. I think we have to educate people as much as we can about what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, and how they can impact this mission.
You've had a lot of people involved consistently with this event. One of them is Freddie Coleman. We already have him plugged into our sportscast on Monday at 6:20. But Freddie's been great. Of course, he's on our show every Friday morning talking NFL. But he is a fan favorite, Freddie Coleman from ESPN here in the Capital Region.
Freddie's awesome. He's so enthusiastic about this event. He's passionate. He comes up here and spends time just really promoting this event, selling this event. It's funny. I had some late night travel last night coming back from a recruiting visit. And, I think Freddie had the night off last night. We were listening to Freddie and Fitz late last night. And, Freddie's one of the best. And the fact that he's committed to this event really impresses me. And, you see how emotional he gets when he's talking about, what we're doing and the honorees. And, Freddie's the best. I can't say enough good things about Freddie and what he does.
And it will be nice to have Mike Hopkins, because with that Syracuse connection, I thought he was going to be the next head coach at Syracuse, but when Coach Boeheim just refuses to retire, you gotta go elsewhere to get your head coaching experience. So he lands in Washington, and by all accounts, did a great job last year.
Well, it's funny. I think Boeheim's going to try to outlast Coach K at Duke. What's crazy about Mike Hopkins is he brought that. If you saw them play last year, the West Coast games are on late. And, I'm a hoops junkie, so, I'm up at 11 p.m., 12 a.m. watching Pac-12 games. He brought that Syracuse zone to the Pac-12, and it looked like some of those teams they were playing against were deer in headlights, trying to solve that mystery, the 2-3 zone, and, and they stuck to it. It didn't matter how they were playing, how many times the other team scored. They sat in that 2-3 zone for 40 minutes and caused a lot of problems in the Pac-12, and he was rewarded by being named Pac-12 Coach of the Year. So it's nice that he's coming all the way from the West Coast, back to, this area. Obviously, Syracuse, not too far away from Albany. He played there, was a longtime assistant with Jim Boeheim. He's an energy guy, and I think he'll bring a lot of energy to the event. He's a passionate coach, so I've got a feeling he's going to be very passionate that evening about this event, and we're happy to have him.
Yeah, and he will be receiving the Inspiration Award on Monday, so it'd be good to have Mike in the house. And what, again, Will, is the best way right now to land a ticket? Is there a website that we'll have up on
Yep, I got it right here.
I
got it right here. ACSCapitalRegionEvents.com. ACSCapitalRegionEvents.com/coaches versus cancer.
Can you show up the night of the day of? Is this
absolutely you can. The one thing about the Albany Capitol Center is it's huge. Doug McClain does an awesome job at the Capitol Center. As you remember from last year, he laid down a basketball court.
Yep.
He really does a great job, and our goal is to get right around 500, but we'll take 6, we'll take 7,
and he has the room to do it.
So if anybody's out there listening, I encourage you to go online and register, show up the night of the event. We've got some great local honorees. We've talked about Mike Hopkins, our national honoree, and we have people from all different areas of the Capital District and beyond that come together, whether it's local businesses. We talked about Albany, Siena. It's a real fun event. The food, the beverages, the events that are going on. It's a fun time for a great cause.
And some of the raffle items are really cool too. So if I would recommend the VIP reception. You get to rub elbows with Will and Jamie and Freddie and Mike Hopkins. That's from 6 to 7 on Monday night. The raffle items, though, too, once you get into the room itself, the silent auction items are really cool.
The silent auction's awesome.
There is something, though, I saw that your wife posted on Facebook, a Cape Cod vacation for next summer, and it's after Traverse, people. So if you're Saratoga people, it's the week after Traverse, and it sleeps like 20 people, and all you have to do is buy a $100 ticket, and you're entered for it.
$100 ticket. They're only selling 100 of them. I know my wife's already bought 2 of them. That was the last count she gave. Well, that's all she told me. But I'll tell you, it's Ken Raymond and his family donated it. It's their home, their summer home, and it looks awesome. I've only seen pictures, and I'm sure by the time the event starts, my wife, if there's any tickets available, we'll probably end up with 5 or 6 of them. But it's tremendous. And then, unfortunately, Ken's daughter, Mary Ann Donnelly, passed away last year. So we've named the local honoree awards after Marianne Donnelly, which is tremendous. And the silent auction items, I try to clean up as much as possible, but my wife hasn't given me the app info for this year yet, because you can do it all via your phone.
That's cool.
So we have a basement full of American Cancer Society auction items at our house, and my older son's got a bunch hanging up in his room, my younger one a few. So I'm going to get after it on that silent auction. I really like the list. There's about 100 items right now, and it's impressive. Again, I can't say enough how good of a job that Lizzie Hunter does with this event.
It's a great night. VIP reception runs from 6 to 7. The event begins at 6:30. And if I would just read my notes here, I could have told you a few minutes ago that it's ACS CapitalRegionEvents.com/coaches versus cancer. Go there right now and grab some tickets, and we will see you on Monday night. Coach, I don't know much about your basketball team.
Yeah, that makes two of us.
So, and as far as I know, I am returning this year as the voice of the Great Dane. So, guess what? We're going to ask you about your basketball team when we come back. What's in store when they hit the courts here sooner than later for the UAlbany men's basketball team? We're going to ask the head coach, Will Brown, next on Big Board Sports 104.5 A Team, ESPN Radio. Because Will Brown does a little overtime with us. We promoted the Coaches vs. Cancer event for Monday, and now, heck, Will, you're right around the corner here for the start of another basketball season, and outside of Ahmad Clark and Devontae Campbell, and I know about the Aussies because of last year, but didn't see any of them play. Now here we go this year. So what's this team look like when you get past Clark and Campbell?
Great question. That's probably why I'm so excited for the upcoming season and so energized, because of the uncertainty and the question mark because of the lack of experience. Has nothing to do with lack of talent. I really like this group. It's probably been the most difficult summer and early fall because we've had 2 surgeries already. There's a potential for a third one. We've really been banged up, but I've got great kids, talented kids. We're going to have 6 freshmen in our program, which is exciting. And, so I'm anxious to learn more about this group. This summer was really about let's get to know each other. Let's see how these guys work, see how talented they are. And then, the fall, we're getting, we don't start practice till the first week of October, but right now, we're doing a lot of team stuff, just so we can slowly but surely, take baby steps toward that first practice.
Are they surgeries that will affect the season?
One, absolutely. Second one, should be good to go by the first practice, and the potential third one, if it has to happen, is not good. So,
okay.
But as I've learned over the years, the one thing that you can't control, is injuries, unless you're very careless with your practice time and how much you grind your guys. And, if you're doing the right things and practicing the right way, a lot of that stuff is luck, unfortunately, or bad luck.
Right.
When, kids end up getting injured. We have a great training staff, great medical team. So, this is interesting. And as I'm learning more about this group is really going to determine, how we play. We've always been a physical team. We've always been a team that's defended, that's rebounded, and I think's been unselfish offensively. I think with this group, maybe less ball screens, have to play a little bit differently. Got a couple of positionless guys, I think, that can play all over the floor. But I have learned, and I learned this a long time ago as well, there's a lot of guys that are good in individual workouts or small group instruction, and then once they get thrown all this structure, they struggle. And then you have some guys that maybe aren't good in the individuals or pickup games, and now they get structure and they thrive. So, I'm really interested. Those first week or two of practice is going to be, I think, eye-opening for our guys, but eye-opening for our staff as well. But talent will not be an issue. I am comfortable, saying that. I think we've got good size, especially at the 3, 4, and 5 spots. We have some versatility on the perimeter. The issue is going to be is a lot of those talented guys are very, very young and have not played when the lights are on. But it does bode well for the future of our program because I do think we have some really good talent in our program right now.
Will, how much are you going to miss the Cremo and the Nichols backcourt, do you think, this year?
From an experience standpoint and a point production, I think we will. I think this group as a team, in my opinion, early on, I think we'll be much, much better defensively, for sure. I think it'll be a tougher group and an unselfish group. So, I think this would be a perfect team for Greg Steyer, this group to be on, just because I think his lunch pail mentality is going to be what this team, really is about. But I think what happens is when you lose two guys that are that experienced and have put the ball in the basket at the rate they did, during their career, you don't replace those guys with individuals because, when they leave in the spring, you're just not going to go out and get two guys to replace them. So for us, it's going to be a by committee thing. And I think, depth often is overrated, in my opinion, because most coaches now, it's hard to get 5 good players that you're comfortable with. So usually if you're playing beyond 7 at our level, you don't know if that's good or bad. I think for us, I think there's a lot of parity on our roster. I'm trying to figure out if that's good or bad. Yeah. It's early, but I do like our talent and I do like our versatility. We could potentially start 3 freshmen, which would
be very rare for you,
which we've never done.
Yeah.
But we have a guy like Devontae Campbell who has showed unbelievable leadership ability from the spring through now in the fall. And I'd be really surprised if he didn't have a really good year. He really struggled last year shooting the basketball. And that's the reality of it. We've discussed it with him. He's worked really hard in the spring, summer, and so far he's making shots. We all know what he can do defensively. But I do think he's feeling really good about himself because he's worked hard. He's playing well. Have no idea what we're going to do with the point guard position. Ahmad Clark returns, and this is probably crazy for me to say, especially people listening. He is really, really talented. The issue is I like to play our point guard heavy minutes, and I did that with David Nichols, and so nobody has really seen Ahmad for extended minutes. His decision-making has to get better, and we've talked about that for sure. He's got to learn to change gears, but he's really, really talented. And when we graduated, you guys will remember this name. He's one of the best players that we've ever had, Mike Black. Mm-hmm. We had this kid sitting behind Mike Black who never, ever played, DJ Evans. And all I kept saying to my staff is, man, Mike's graduating. We need to find a starting point guard. And my staff was like, Coach, we have one in our program. He just hasn't gotten an opportunity. And I'm like, who's that? They're like, DJ. And then sure enough, 1 year later, he leads us to the NCAA tournament. In that Florida NCAA tournament game, DJ's like trending. He's the best player on the floor. But the thing with Ahmad is I also don't know what I'm going to do with Cameron Healy because he can play multiple spots on the perimeter. He's really talented. Am I going to play him at the point? Or if I play him at the point, he's not going to be as aggressive offensively as I need him because Cameron can score and make plays. And then we have this point guard, a junior college kid we took who's a dynamic player. He's only we list him at 5'8", which means he's probably 5'5". Reese Brooks, who scored over 1,000 points in arguably the best junior college league in the country in West Texas. He's putting up 40 on guys that are playing in the Big 12 right now. Right now he's learning how hard you have to play on a daily basis. One day he looks like Tiny Archambault out there, and then the next day you don't even notice him. And I'm trying to get him to understand we need more Tiny Archambault and less I don't notice you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, he shoots the ball from the parking lot, and he's really good in the ball screen, and we're trying to get him to understand. And I've never done this before, but I'm probably going to show him film of the kid from UMBC, KJ Mora. Now, Reese is more talented than him for sure, but that kid played with the biggest chip on his shoulder and was the biggest pain in the rear end defensively. And that's what we need. That's how you thrive at this level, at that size, because the opposing coaches are going to try to pick on you. Like, we would try to post KJ Moore up all the time, and he was a tough kid, and I'm trying to get Reese to do that. So, again, right there, we have some versatility. And then I think we have the best freshman in the league, talent-wise, true freshman, in Malachi DeSouza, 6'6", 6'7" wing, who can play 2, 3, 4. Needs to get stronger, but he's real talented, versatile, can guard multiple spots. But I'm going to have to play him and let him make mistakes and let him learn. But
what about Adam, Luka, and Brent Hank? Those guys are all the Aussies from last year. You mentioned Cam Healy, but Luka, I know you were high on just watching him do what he did in practice last year.
I'd be surprised. And again, you don't want to sit here on this day and say this guy's starting, that guy's starting. I'd be shocked if Adam wasn't in the opening night lineup of 5 that we throw out there. Just it's been a year since he was able to really lift because he had that shoulder repaired. But now he's almost 250 right now at 6'8", shoots the 3, goes inside, good athlete. Reminds me, the only thing that scares me is his personality. Reminds me a little bit at this stage of Sam Rowley. When Sam got here, Sam was just happy to be here, getting a free education. And then his freshman year, Sam didn't play. His sophomore year, he had the same mentality. If it wasn't for an injury, Sam might not have got in the lineup. And we all know how good Sam ended up being. Adam's got a chance to be really good right away as a redshirt freshman. And then Brent Hank's one of the biggest human beings you'll ever be around. He's 4 years away from the WWE. He's 6'10", 285. He was in the summer. We got him down now to about 270. Moves well. He's really going to be good for us defensively. It's the offensive end of the floor where his game needs to catch up. But I think he'll be fine. So, again, we're excited. It's the experience is the giant question mark, and the only way you get experience is by getting out there and playing. I was listening this morning to an interview with Terry Bradshaw, and they were talking about all these quarterbacks that you guys were talking about. And Terry Bradshaw said, you know what? You're not going to learn by standing. You got to get out on the field and play. So he wasn't buying the let's not play Josh Allen because the offensive line is so bad. No, he was saying if there's a coaching staff that's going to massage the back and tell him, hey, keep your head up. You're doing a really good job. We'll get you more offensive linemen. We'll get you more weapons. Just keep doing what you're doing. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing for me is, I'm a lot harder on veterans because I expect so much from them. And I'm going to expect a lot from our young guys, but I also have to take a deep breath and massage their back a little bit because you know what? The lights are on. It's going to be the first time playing. And, that's not easy. And freshmen, just like rookies, they hit the wall at some point. And the really good ones find a way to knock that wall down, jump over it, get around it, because coming from high school or prep school, it's all new to them. So when you get out there, kids stay up late. They don't eat right. They don't take care of themselves. They start to get tired, fatigued, and you can see it in their play and practice and their production in games. When you see that, you got to help kids get through that wall. So, yeah, I'm excited. My staff is always more optimistic, than I am. Probably because they all played for me and they know me so well. But I am. I'm really looking forward to coaching this group because I really don't know what we have. I know we have talented guys, but I haven't seen many of them play when the lights are on and it's for real. And that's what's going to be so good about the non-conference is, you're going to get to play some different combinations. You learn a lot about these young guys. And if it's a great non-conference, that's awesome. If it's a solid non-conference, great. If it's a bad one, which you hope doesn't happen, when you get to the new year, you reset everything. Everybody's 0-0. And I think this group, the non-conference, is going to be great because it's going to be an awesome learning experience. But I really like where we're at right now as a program, especially with the talent level that we have, knowing that a lot of these guys we're going to have for the next 4 years. And even a couple of our transfers, Phil Flory, who was at Seton Hall, has got 3 years to play. Sasha French, 6'10 kid, who's at the University of San Francisco in the same league with Gonzaga, 6'10 kid, has got 3 years to play. So this group, 6 freshmen, I just mentioned 2 of those transfers. That's 8 guys right there that are going to be here for a while. So, that's it's going to be fun.
Coach, you always figure it out. I have no doubt that you will again. And thanks for coming in for a few minutes this morning. A little combo with the big event coming up on Monday, and then obviously learning about your basketball team.
Yeah, no, it's been fun, and I can't encourage the people listening in the community to get out on Monday and the American Cancer Society and Coaches vs. Cancer, this basketball event is awesome. And there's one last thing, Raj. This is the first time ever we have a coach's ticket. We have the VIP ticket. We have our general admission ticket. But this is the first year we are selling a coach's ticket. Any coach, any sport, any level. Doesn't have to be college, high school, professional. It could be youth sports. Any coach can get a ticket for $100 online. And I encourage, there's a basketball theme behind it, but we have hockey coaches, lacrosse coaches, baseball coaches attend this event. It's about coaches and the community rallying together to raise awareness, raise money, and fight cancer. So thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, no problem, Coach. We'll see you on Monday. Good stuff with the UAlbany men's basketball head coach, Will Brown.